What's up, guys? Welcome back to another episode of Patent Pending, episode 14.
The podcast for creatives.
By creatives.
And today we have on Samantha.
Yay!
Today our guest is Samantha Vitone.
Yeah.
And what do you do, Sam?
I'm model, content creator, all things, jack of all trades. I do a little bit of everything. I've worked in cannabis for the past 4 years.
Sure, we'll get there, yes.
Yeah, I've touched every type of industry, but mostly modeling and content creation. I'm working in bridal right now, selling wedding dresses. So
Wow, there's a lot of new
all over the
stuff.
spectrum.
yeah,
That's awesome.
I'm all over the place. Yeah.
This is why we have you on, because I've shot with Sam quite a bit. So this is good to catch up, and there's a lot of new things going on with you.
Yes, 100%. I'm life is always moving, so.
So did you guys meet on a shoot?
We were trying to figure that out before we went on air. That sounds so official, on air. We met online, obviously, but I don't remember our first shoot.
Me either, at all.
But it was in 2019 was when we first shot. Was when I
You're
had
saying, the studio.
When I had that studio. And we did some
But
things.
I still think there's something before that. I think so. I just can't remember.
I can't either. But we'll go off there. That's our benchmark. Yeah.
Sean's been my personal
Go-to?
agency. No, he refers me for so much stuff all the time. So honestly,
sick.
it's been
modeling gigs?
yeah,
Nice.
it's been a cool, genuine relationship to build off of for sure. I appreciate the energy and
That's
everything.
what this
so
whole podcast is about.
yeah,
Just helping
no.
out
Well, it's
the
awesome
homies
that
and locals and
well, it works out too that you're a good person on your end too. That way I'm not hey, you're looking for a model, hit up Sam and they're like, oh, that person sucked.
Yeah.
Or those stories where they're like, oh, your recommendation was horrible, but
Yeah.
you're not. So
I'm glad.
yeah,
Good things, right?
I've always heard good things when somebody has reached back out and said, hey, thanks for recommending Samantha. She was awesome to work with.
Ooh.
So that's
nice.
kudos to you.
Professionalism.
Yeah.
Are you originally from Vegas?
Yes, born and raised.
Oh, sick.
Yeah.
Me too.
Oh yeah. What high school did you go to?
Durango.
Oh, okay.
And Southwest Career Tech. I transferred
okay.
there when they opened. But what about you?
I graduated from CSN High School.
Oh, cool.
So that's I guess kind of newer. I don't know if it's that new, but then
yeah, it was around. I remember when I was in high school too.
yeah.
So is that the program where you go and take college classes and then you graduate with already credits, right?
Yeah,
Oh,
I
sick.
graduated with 60 college credits. So as soon as I went to
shit.
UNLV, I was already year 2, year 3 of
sick.
college.
What'd you go to UNLV for?
Marketing.
Oh, sick.
Yeah, I never finished. I have I have a year left, and as of recently, I've been thinking more about it.
Mm-hmm.
So how school works, where basically if you're applying for FAFSA or any type of financial aid, you have to have your parents, and I just don't have a relationship with my parents like that.
Mm-hmm.
So I had to wait until I was 24 to start reapplying for grants, and I turned 24 I'm about to turn 25 this year,
shit.
so. I've kind of just been waiting for this moment so I can apply for financial aid to go back.
But do you plan to go back though?
I think so. It's
Okay.
been bothering me because I'm so close, more so.
Yeah.
Because I'm I literally only have 2 semesters left, so
You
I should
could
definitely
do
go back.
that. Yeah, you're right there.
Might as well.
Yeah. I'm yeah, for sure. In the moment I was nah, fuck this. But can I cuss on here?
Yeah.
Oh, okay, sorry.
Fuck.
I got so scared. I was wait a minute. Is
Not
this-
regulated.
I didn't want to get you demonetized. I know sometimes you post this on YouTube or whatever.
we
Okay,
do.
okay.
The whole 100 views is
Yeah.
Okay. I was oh no. Okay.
As soon as we start plugging Squarespace ads, then maybe
Yeah.
we'll not cuss.
Well, good
but
thing I'm here before the Squarespace. Cause shit. No.
as soon as we have story blocks or Squarespace ads, will be good.
Is that a field that you're still interested in? Is marketing that you'd like to go into in your future?
I feel that's where my skill and talent more so lies. Because even modeling, content building, all of these things, it's basically field marketing or it's overall
There's
marketing.
definitely parallels
100%.
within your bubble.
100%. So I think it's just it's always going to be there. I think that's where my skill set lies right now.
Mm-hmm.
But who knows what's going to happen in life? I don't know. I'm just riding the wave.
Yeah.
That's good. Sometimes you need that.
Yeah.
To just I don't want to say let go of control, but just go with it and see how
Go
things
with the
shake
flow.
out.
No, 100%.
Yeah, and see where it leads you.
Yeah.
Yeah.
What made you get into modeling and content creating and all that in the first place?
I was a really awkward high schooler and really awkward kid, and I had no self-confidence, and I just felt really freaking terrible about myself all the time. So I was like,
I should
obviously,
know.
yeah. No, but obviously, like, all of the people that I admired were in TV, in magazine, and whatever those cases. And I was like, maybe that's a good way to, like, kind of break into that. And then not to mention I'm already, like, 6 foot, right? So people are already suggesting that to me. So it's kind of, like, there. But I was like, okay, like, maybe I need to push myself to be in it and just be uncomfortable and get outside of my comfort zone and, like, just trust that, it's going to push me to be a better person. And it completely did. Like, diving into the industry was, although it has a shit ton of learning lessons and, like, just overall, like, cons, but it had a ton of pros at the time too. And if it wasn't for, like, me diving into or pressing myself to be outside of my comfort box, like, would be nowhere near where I am today. But, like, it was definitely just the fact that I don't know, I just had so much self-dread and, like, did not like myself. I was like, what, at this point, like, what am I going to lose? You know, like.
Okay. That's an interesting way to look at it.
Put myself out there and kind of test myself to be, like, confident with myself. And I think it broke down as much as everyone's looking at you and tearing you down in a sense, right? Because you're just like the hanger that's wearing the clothes or the product or whatever, and everyone's very, like, transparent and blunt with your appearance and everything. But that almost like takes you away from the whole ego of what we look like. Because at this point, I could care less at this point I go to jobs and people can sit there and critique everything about me, and I really don't care. Like,
helped you build, like, a
thick skin. Like a thick skin, and just more so just, like, realizing that it's not personal. It's like, this job is really, people are trying to sell their product, and so at the end of the day, you are, like, a service, you are the product, so you just kind of have to take it with a grain of salt.
It is, very demanding of it.
Yeah.
But, I mean, that's good that you can kind of compartmentalize of, like, to not take it personally.
100%.
I'm sure it wasn't always like that.
No, 100%. Yeah, it wasn't. So that's what I'm saying. You had to, like, it pushed me to that boundary. Like, it made me get there. There was plenty of times of, like, crying or getting hurt by what people are saying, for sure. Like, but it got me to this point of, like, feeling like, I don't know, I could go to something and completely hate what I'm wearing, completely hate how I look, but not feel that way in front of the camera. And that's what really has, like, been the best learning lesson. Like, it's not more so, like, if somebody tells me I'm ugly, like, oh, like, you know, I'm not hurt by it or whatever, but it's also more so, like, I could look in the mirror and be like, I really don't fucking like this makeup. Yeah. But, like, that has nothing to do with me. Like, if this is what they want, this is what they're going to get. And just, like, kind of go with, like, cool. Like, I'm still confident within myself, even though I don't like what's on me or what's whatever the case may be. Yeah, so it kind of made me confident.
I can kind of relate. Yeah. Like, certain things you're like, well, I didn't pick, like, this makeup. I wouldn't do this for me. Or, like, hair, I'm not going to wear this or do this, but hey, this is your thing, not mine.
Yeah, 100%.
But I wanted to circle back before I lose thought. I like how you said that you were, like, an awkward kid and that you were, like, tall, right?
Yeah.
So I think that, like, whoever is listening to this, like, that's something to kind of, like, draw inspiration from, of, like, use your awkwardness or when we're growing up, what we think is awkward or, like, not cool to your advantage.
100%.
Like, yeah, if you're tall, you don't have to play a sport like we all think. Like, you could be a model.
Oh my gosh, basketball. Even to this day.
How many times do people think, oh, you can be a basketball star? You're like,
exactly why I didn't play basketball, though. Because everyone was asking me, like, it was like basketball or modeling, and I was like, maybe modeling, you know?
Yeah.
Like,
Did you play any sports at all?
I cheered, like, competitively, nationally. Like, we did cheer competitions and stuff, but dance, like, nothing actually. I mean, not that it's not athletic. Cheer is very much athletic, so I'm not going to get that messed up.
Nothing that required a ball.
Yeah, nothing that required a ball. I was like, I guess nothing that was, like, basketball or baseball or something, but nothing that required a ball.
I was thinking maybe volleyball or something.
Yeah. No, I never, and I think it was more so I was just turned off because, like, everyone expected me to. Yeah. And I was like, no.
Maybe I don't want to do what you think.
Yeah, you want to go against the grain.
Yeah, exactly. 100%. Yeah.
You're very well spoken. I did not think you were 24.
Oh, yeah?
Yeah, absolutely.
Well, thank you.
Yeah, that's true. Dang, I met you then 2019. According to my first brain.
21.
Yeah. Oh.
Yeah. I feel like an old soul, and I just feel a lot older than I am. So maybe that plays into it.
For sure. Yeah.
I mean, you're definitely like more don't know how to put this. I'm trying to put this delicately. You're definitely, you carry yourself in a more like established way than I would have thought like a normal 24-year-old would. You know what I mean?
that.
Like you're responsible, you have, a career, and like you're very goal oriented in that aspect for, like I said, a 24-year-old's like that I've met.
Yeah, 100%. I feel like
Yeah.
I've started a business, I put down a business, like all before the age of 25. So here we are. We're
Tell
just
us about
going
that.
through it.
What type of business did you start?
So right before the pandemic, I started a modeling agency.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, and that was like always kind of the end goal. I think like even when I started modeling, it was like, okay, well, this is like passive income, but what are you going to do once you're like 30 or 25, right? In my mind, 25. I know. But modeling for me, it just had a cap.
Right,
Like I was going to
for sure.
plateau at some moment. So I was like, what's going to be after that? And in my mind, it was always like the agency. Like I was always very like business oriented and just wanted to, I don't know. I just always had an idea that I would bring my skill set to other models,
Okay.
I suppose. So I took a leap of faith and was like, the only way I'm
Yeah.
going to learn is by doing it. And I did it. And then we had COVID and that shifted, I'm sure, everyone's world. So
Right.
it was just like, oh, okay, like I'm young, I'm inexperienced. Now we have a pandemic and like I'm trying to self-fund this thing. Just trying to like learn and be that boss at the same time.
Right.
In the middle of a pandemic. So like all of that was just very, I think like shaking, I guess, or jarring, like trying to figure out how to conduct it all. But it was an amazing like learning lesson. And I was very passionate about it and it built me a lot of my like funds during the pandemic. But I think at the end of it, I was kind of just like, okay, I need to learn
Right.
more and study more
Yeah.
before I like come back and like just take that time off to like come back and do it. So
For sure.
yeah,
It kind of forced you to pull the reins back a little bit in that regard.
100%. Like, I just think that we all talk about it now, just the generation we're in, the time that we're in, it's very much like pressure to be that like self-funded, self-built. Yeah,
Yeah.
exactly. Entrepreneur, you're doing it, you're working hard, you're doing this.
The Gary V like outlook.
Yeah, 100%. The
Yeah.
Gary V outlook, 100%. And actually, like, while I'm building my business, studying a lot of what that man's saying, right? And like trying to figure out how to hustle and like get on the social media, like grinds and stuff like that, right? But not actually learning how to lay foundations from like a structural standpoint, as in like the business and your business licenses and contracting, especially when owning a modeling agency, and how to get that money and where the money is coming from. And like, I mean, I just put the business down at the beginning of this year, and even in this year, like learning so much about funding, grants, and just like what is available to us from like,
The
I mean,
government.
I'm a Black woman in America, and no one taught me how to make business credit or how to even just balance my own credit, much less
Right.
business credit. Like,
Yeah.
so just kind of coming to terms or like trying to figure out how to even really start a foundational, like structured business.
Right.
So just taking that time this year to like really figure that out and like
That's awesome.
learn and not be afraid to learn. Cause nowadays I
Right.
feel like people want to be the person like doing it so bad that they don't want to like look like they're
Inexperienced.
Yeah,
inexperienced.
yeah.
But I mean, you don't know everything. We all are inexperienced in
Yeah.
some way.
Yeah.
Like, you know what I'm saying? So
And there's,
yeah.
there's definitely people out there. I don't want to say out there, but there's definitely people that have that mindset that like, I'm trying something, I have to be good at it.
Yeah.
Like people like don't like the idea of failure.
believe me.
Of like
100%.
I'm not gonna not try. They're either gonna not try it at all,
Yeah.
or when they try it, they just stick with it. So I think in your case, you were able to like, as much as you didn't want to let go of that thing,
Yeah.
that maybe it's bittersweet that you did of like, okay, I do need to learn some things, and then when I'm ready, I could like 2.0 this and then really hit it
100%.
hard. You know,
100%.
I think, yeah,
Yeah.
Yeah, and I'm learning that stuff too. I'm sure
Well,
Sean,
yeah.
Sean is too. And I've been doing this 13 years almost, but
Yeah.
I'm still like figuring it out as far as like taxes and all that stuff. And that's shit like we should like learn in high school.
Yeah.
Like, I don't know anything about that, how to build a business, how to do your taxes, how to just be professional. We were talking about that.
All of it.
Yeah. Some earlier episodes.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Especially here in Vegas. professionalism and stuff like that. Like you're not surrounded by a lot of people who are portraying that. So it's
Yeah.
very hard to also for yourself to like learn from what, you know? It's
Okay.
easiest to like
Yeah.
learn from examples, but when the people you're working with aren't always the most professional, it's kind of hard to take yourself, I feel like, seriously at some
Okay.
points.
For sure.
Yeah.
But yeah.
So who would be, or what would be a thing for you to learn, I guess in particular, in running a modeling agency? Is there like other, women or just people in general that you could like take a workshop to then learn a little bit more?
Maybe I'm sure there's plenty of resources out there that I maybe just have not seen and tapped into. So I never want to discredit anybody who probably is very much well doing the work in order, and maybe I just didn't see it.
Yeah.
I'm sure maybe I should just go intern at a modeling agency and kind of see how they afford,
be a
or
good
whoever
one.
is like successful, and just like see what that's like.
Yeah.
But also the industry is changing so freaking much. And I think also my idea of a modeling agency just needs to be more innovative moving forward. And like when I do come back, or whenever I do decide to come back with my agency or whatever it may be at that time, I think it just is going to have a whole different foundation, because like the industry in general is changing. Like there's no longer a need for an agency. People can go straight to the model. They don't have to sit there and book or pay a 20% fee to an agency in order to get to the model, especially when the model is probably going to give them lower rates anyways. So
Yeah. Now, that follow-up question to that, were you represented by an agency before, or were you all your own?
So I've never been exclusive to one person. I've never been signed to like a huge agency or someone big in like New York or LA. But of course, like if you're a freelance model and you're playing the game right, you want to be tapped into as many agencies as
Hands in many
possible.
pots.
Exactly. So as many non-exclusive contacts as, I'm still signed to a few agencies.
Okay. But they're not exclusive. Like you can
Non-exclusive.
still, okay.
I can still like tap in and freelance
Nice.
or book my own things or whatever the case may be. Which is, I mean, even with all the agencies I'm signed to, I'm maybe signed to like 3, 4, 5 right now.
Oh, damn.
Yeah, but I feel
I mean,
like
that's a lot to me, because I feel like I usually, if I'm going off like work experience or like people's bios, is usually like 2,
yeah, I guess depending on the agencies I'm signed to aren't like major agencies who are maybe like funding me most of my career or most of my gigs. It's like very small, like Best Agency, Cast Vegas, like very smaller like agencies that are sending me gigs, and I can kind of choose from there. So I can see where like if I was in LA, maybe I would only be signed to like an LA agency, London agency.
Right.
But out here in Vegas, I think the game is a little different. Like it's just kind of grind as much as you can, or like try to get signed as much as you can so you can get as many bookings or gigs, because the chance of that, even to like as many agencies as I'm signed to, I book most of my work via myself, like not even via,
That's what my next question was. Do you just get a lot of stuff from Instagram or social media?
yeah, social media in general. Like Instagram has definitely, even just like thinking back on it, as much as I like hate being on social media now, or I don't resonate with the internet right now.
Okay.
Yeah, and Instagram pays me probably the most. Like that's where I get
Directly?
Yeah, like I mean, I wouldn't have met you, I'm sure, if it wasn't through Instagram.
Yeah, I mean,
like,
yeah.
So a lot of even like the referrals based off of that like come through Instagram most of the time. I was debating the other week about like privating my Instagram account.
Ooh.
I was like, ooh, maybe I should just private it for a second so I can like be a hermit and like take some time for myself. I was like, no, you can't do that, bitch. Like,
Yeah, I feel the same way though about Instagram and social media in general. Like I'm getting pretty exhausted of it.
yeah,
But I feel like it's definitely an avenue I always need to leave open
Yeah.
for work.
yeah. It's very much work now. It's very much
Yeah.
work. I don't even pay attention to what people are posting on Instagram anymore. And I think that's a lot of us though. I think everyone's kind of using this year to like look inwards on the shit that they need to work on, and like not paying too much attention to like social media events going out and stuff. Like
I can see that shift. That's one thing I have actually in my notes to talk about. So it's perfect that you brought that up. Is
Nice segue.
yeah. Well, last few guests, it maybe wasn't right to bring this up or talk about it, but what I'm getting at is like social media, from our perspective as content creators, models, photographers, such. we demand a lot from people because as much as we talk about mental health and like reset and get off and do things for yourself, we still demand things because we're selling our business to you. We're selling modeling to you, what we've been up to. We're trying to sell our photos, services, our video services. So it's like, we still demand everyone to be on their phone.
Yeah.
Like we want people to engage with us. We want people to, like I said, buy into whatever it is we're pushing out. So we're on like a weird double-edged sword.
Yeah. Weird as heck, for sure. Especially in a time where like it's more than just, now I feel like even as a model, like it's more than just modeling. Now it's content creation, content, like, I don't know, like influencership, and influencership has even taken its own path in itself.
Right.
Like there's just so many avenues in which you can make money from, but all of that depends on who you can make money off of. So creating those audiences in order so that you can sell things on your page.
Right.
And all of this is, it's becoming very ingenuine. So I think that's why people are just not resonating a lot with like the internet, because we all know we're selling each other shit.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I think
That's well put.
2020 was like a big, I think that was like the burst of the bubble, was that time of like 2020 going into 2019, 2020 really, and then like fading off into 2021 was like, yeah, everyone was being sold shit.
Yeah.
And then we just got so sick of like, it seemed genuine at first. It's like, oh, I'm just using this deodorant. And then at the end of it, you're like, oh, you don't even fucking use the deodorant. You just got paid to say that you use this goddamn deodorant.
I'm laughing because that's literally my job.
Yeah,
and I'm like, but like also I did get like some slack. I've heard whatever. I heard, you know, people critiquing the fact that I was doing a lot of ad posts and stuff for a while. But I was like, also in the back of my head, like, I'm getting paid.
Right.
Like, I'm sorry, it's my job. Like you're hating, but also like, this is my job at this point. Like this is my livelihood. So even if you're not resonating, just unfollow so that other people will follow. Like, you don't have to.
It's like with TV and shit. Like you don't have to. If it's making you angry, don't fucking.
Because
watch
what you will do is just follow somebody else who you want to buy shit off of. You know, like that's all it is at this point. Like just find who you want to follow and what they're promoting and what you like that they're promoting. So that way you can kind of go from there. But very interesting time we live in.
You okay over there?
Yeah, keep yawning. Sorry.
It's been a long day. It's okay. Or I'm boring you.
No, you're good.
Okay.
Yeah, no, you're spitting a lot of knowledge right now. I enjoy it.
It's deep. Sorry.
Yeah.
Yeah.
When did you go full-time model?
So actually, like pandemic. Like,
oh, really?
2020 was going to be before I knew that it was going to be a pandemic,
right.
I already declared that I was going to be like, okay, I'm not working anymore. I like quit jobs. I've worked in cannabis for a really long time. So wherever I was at the time, whatever dispensary I was at, I probably quit it. And
cannabis. I thought you said campus.
No, cannabis.
Like UNLV or something.
No, cannabis.
No, cannabis.
Sorry. Yeah.
The legal stuff. Yeah, and then
Not
before
illegal.
actually it's legal, but yeah.
Yeah. So just leaving cannabis jobs and figuring that out. And since like 2020, between the Vitone and talent and doing workshops and teaching and like booking models, and then also just booking myself and doing content creation stuff from home. I guess, but full time, because it's not like I'm working 40 hours a week as a model.
Right. I mean, full time is in like that's your
main source of income.
That's your main source of income. Yeah.
This year would probably be the first year I can declare that like I haven't worked like corporate job. I haven't W-2'd anybody. So this is my first year where I've been like completely freelance.
Yeah, nice. Congrats.
It's stressful because of taxes though. I'm like, wait until I get to tax season next year. We're going to see how much I'm actually clapping about all that.
Yeah. Trust me, I'm in the same boat.
I'm like, I always think I'm doing a good job. And then I realize like, dang, like all of a sudden you realize like, ooh, it's been a couple weeks since I checked in my bookkeeping. So
I got that same dark cloud over my head. I'm like, oh, look at this money. And then I'm like, oh, reality's going to come crashing.
Yeah. Or I'm going to have to pay back 20% of this next year. Yeah.
I just buy gear.
You said what?
I just buy gear. Like I buy a lot of shit.
Gear. Yeah, so that way you can write it off. Yeah, 100%.
Yeah, what could you write off in
a lot of stuff. I was about to say, as a model, you probably
write off clothes, right?
Clothes, hair, makeup, gym, nails, travel.
Gym. That's cool.
You can justify it. I'm sure you can justify it as long as like you're traveling for work.
Well, I meant like more so just dating like your car and like to get to and from shoots and things like that. Meetings.
Yeah, no. So, I mean, you know how it goes about commute. So sometimes I guess it depends on like what.
Right.
Yeah. But Yeah, no, gas mileage, all of that at this point. I'm like, I guess as a girl and a model, like the biggest things are like clothes, hair,
Clothes, yeah, for hair,
nails.
for sure. Yep.
I'm like, those are my write-offs.
Right.
I'm like, okay, it won't be so bad.
I got to do this for work, not for personal.
I'm like, wait a minute, I have to shop this month because I haven't shopped yet. Like, if I don't shop, I don't know if my taxes are going to be paid for. No, I'm just kidding. Sorry, IRS is watching.
Yeah, if the 3 letters are listening,
I know.
we're squared away. I promise.
Yeah, I promise. We're not just buying clothes for no reason.
Yeah. Did you have a day job outside of like when you were younger, before you were in cannabis or before you were modeling? Did you like?
Yeah. I've worked in every industry. I've worked in real estate. I used to do marketing for car dealerships. I taught kids with autism for a while.
Wow.
I was like an ABA therapist, so behavior therapy. I did everything just to make sure that modeling was what I wanted to do.
That's awesome. That's
I
really
was
good.
like, yo, like my family's not going to forgive me if I like dive into this thing and don't really want to do it. And I've been known to just kind of like have an interest in things and like not have an interest in things the next day.
Yeah, but so does everybody in there. That's what your 20s are for figuring out what you want to do, and then your 30s are for doing it.
Oh, believe me, we're finding that out because I just spent the past 8 years like diving into modeling and just now like turning 25 and be like, do I want to do this anymore? Yeah, like seriously, like changing things. So here we are, my like midlife crisis right now. About to be
mid-20s crisis, right?
A quarter life crisis.
Am I gonna have another one of these? Because I don't want one.
It's not your midlife. It's like a quarter life.
Yeah.
Midlife, ideally.
Life's not guaranteed, so who knows? It could be midlife.
Definitely not. But midlife, I feel like, is definitely like 50s.
What?
40s? 40s? Would you say midlife?
Yeah, 40s.
When do we buy our Corvettes?
40s.
40s.
For men, women mature a little earlier, so I feel like our midlife might be a little closer to like 35.
More of like
women,
numerical value.
Yeah, women usually like the mid 30s are like
different.
I
feel like I'm like, and also I guess women go through like menopause and like stuff like that, so it's just a whole different like midlife crisis than men are going through.
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay. So not midlife crisis, quarter life crisis. We're going through it.
Yeah.
Yeah. We're getting through it.
But that happens sometimes, you know?
Yeah.
Like, you spent the last 8 years focusing on modeling and now you're like, I maybe don't want to focus on this anymore.
100%.
What is it? What is it, every 7 years you have like a life shift or what's that?
Oh, is there a saying?
Is that your allergies too?
No, I don't know.
I heard your allergies change every like 7 years.
Yeah, I think every 7 years
sense.
is a shift or something in your body, if I'm not mistaken. So you were at 21, you had one, and then you're right in between a shift maybe.
Oh. Yeah, it feels like it.
Yeah.
I'm stressed about it. No, I'm not stressed.
Right.
But it's also very real. And I think also like what makes me be so transparent about it and like why I was also excited to come on is just because like no matter where you are in life, like social media has made shit so fucking fake. Like it's just not legit. Like we're all going through fucking shit. Like literally everybody is going through shit and nobody wants to talk about it. And also, I mean, we don't want to talk about it with like, whatever, like, privacy reasons, whatever the case may be. But like, also it's just like, this is real. Like this experience is real. And I just hope that kids who are maybe like 21, like I wish I would have just had somebody who was more influential to me that would have just been like, yep, I'm 24 and still like going through it, or I'm 30 and I'm still going through it and trying to figure this out because that's just legit, like.
Yeah, I mean, I think that's where it doesn't matter what age you are. I think you're still there's still something going on to like figure out that you're like, oh, I did not expect this.
Yeah.
So. Yeah, I'll actively be on social media and be like, what the fuck? And like throw my phone down and be angry. But that's a nice segue too. I wanted to ask, you wanted to be an inspiration for younger women. Is there somebody who inspires you?
That's
currently?
a good question.
Yeah.
Oh, I hate this question though. I hate the but just because I'm not like good with referencing certain people, I think like a lot of
it doesn't even have to be like somebody famous too. Like maybe just someone in your personal life that would like helped lead the way a little bit for you. Like a mentor or something.
So I think I take away a lot more from like the people around me and just really learning from the relationships I'm in, and like not relationships as in just like romantically, but friendships, like the people around me. So I think I have like a really good group of friends right now that we just all happen to be going through like the same shit. And so like, honestly, it's just inspiring to see us all going through the same shit and like figuring it out. And then also just like with my maturity level, I have a lot of older friends.
Okay.
And just like some of them just being like really good pillars in my life for like just like trying to get to like the next step and just finding more relation, because it's hard for me to connect to people like famous people and stuff like that.
It's kind of most of it's like unobtainable.
I'm just like, I don't know, I don't relate because it's just not what feels like in reach for me right now. Not that it won't ever be, but in a real like realistic way of looking at life, like a lot of the times I find more inspiration through like, okay, my friend.
Yeah, the homies are crushing it, and then they get you motivated to work just as hard.
No, yeah.
Yeah.
No, genuinely. I feel the same way. Okay, yeah. I'm like, is that a corny answer? Because genuinely.
No, because like my colleagues will like do cool shit, like Sean or like some of my other friends, they'll do cool shit. I'm like, oh, that's awesome. And then it gets me pumped to do cool shit too.
100%.
Or just like somebody to relate to, like you said, in your case where you're like, well, we're both trying to figure these things out, or like whatever it may be, whether it's like emotions or it's like a problem or just, like, what the fuck am I doing? Like how are they getting through it?
Yeah.
You know, like
Legit.
you can pull inspiration from that too, of like, oh, that's how you're dealing with these things. Like, cool.
And it's nice to know too that like other people are going through the same shit.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And it's also like real advice.
Sorry, I didn't have to cut you off. No. Like, we all think that like we're alone in certain things, but then when you talk to somebody, they're like, oh, that too. And you're like, oh.
No, that's what I meant. Like, relation and shit. Like, it's just like, oh, okay, like I don't know. There isn't a guidebook on how to get through most of the shit that we have to get through. So it's kind of like the only way I can feel inspired is just like, oh, okay, you're going through something similar, or like you were able to pull yourself out of something similar, so I must be able to too, you know? So just kind of taking that.
Yeah, I think like maybe don't hold. On one hand, I don't want to say maybe don't. I'm trying to get these thoughts out, because you're looking at somebody else and like, I just don't want you to get caught up in the comparison of like, well, they got through it, I can too.
100%. No,
you know
okay.
Like,
so there has to be
like,
a balance. I guess,
exactly, there you go.
I feel you.
Balance, because otherwise you're going to be like, well, fuck, like John got through it, like I can do it. And you're like, well,
100%.
It doesn't, like maybe it took them 2 years to get over this thing, and it took me 5.
100%.
Like, I think
you're right.
I think it's just, again, it's
a balance.
You don't want that to be a negative, right?
Yeah.
You don't want to then turn that to a negative. You want to try to like go with the flow in that sense, but like pull the positive from it.
Yeah. No, you're 100% right. I think it's just like, I guess having I don't know. Life is a difficult thing to balance in the first place. So I feel it 100%. Comparison, even on like social media and stuff.
That's the hardest thing with social media. It's so easy to compare yourself to other people. Like, well, what the fuck? Why am I not in this position like they are? And
But I think in general, because I think one thing people don't talk about a lot is just like, even in our relationships, like romantic relationships, whatever, like you were just saying, be careful not getting yourself caught up into like comparing yourself to the people who are closest to you that are influencing you. And it's like, you compare yourself to everyone in some type of way, like even your partner, just like competitively, or trying to figure out like, you know, how we can get ahead and stuff. So I think learning how to not compare yourself in general is a big lesson before taking that whole,
Yeah, that's something that I've learned over like the last little bit, maybe the last few years, is to try to not compare with anything, of like try to just, you know, let the things be. But like, comparison is just like, it's only gonna be like, I don't want to say it's only gonna be a negative, but we usually associate comparing something to, why not me, or why them, and then it just turns into a negative. It like festers in a negative way.
Yeah,
it turns into self-doubt for me. Yeah, I'm like, oh, what the fuck? Am I actually good enough?
100%.
Or I'll look at shit. Like I'll look at like some photos, and then like I'll have to go look at my photos and be like, oh yeah, okay, you're still tight too.
Yeah.
You know.
So I wanted to ask then, since we're talking about comparison, we're talking about social media, we're talking about kind of like self-doubt, how do you remedy that? Do you just like force yourself to stay off of social media for, you know, days or a week, or do you delete the app? Like, what's kind of like your...
I've never deleted the app. I know a lot of people who like undownload the apps from your phone. And I think like a big part of the discipline is having the apps on my phone and being able to like control using them in the first
I get what you're
place.
saying. Yeah, you're not quite fixing it if you just remove it.
Yeah, like you're not. Yeah, exactly. You're not quite fixing the addiction of like wanting to feed that. So I think a big part of like what I'm learning this year in general is facing a lot of the fears and a lot of the comparison head on. So like addressing those fears, like you said earlier, like okay, I have this photo, like I'm not good enough or whatever the example is, like saying those things out loud to hear how dumb they are. Because like, honestly, just like how we've said, like you'll never critique somebody else the way you critique yourself. When you start hearing those things out loud, it just starts sounding like crazy. So one thing that I've been really trying to do just to kind of work through like my shadow work or whatever the case may be, just like when I'm comparing myself to someone else, like say that shit out loud. Like, and honestly, most of the time you sound dumb, and that's the part of it. Like it could be unhealthy maybe for some people, but it works for me. I'm like, if I have to say it out loud, because I'm just like, girl, do you really think that? And it's like, no, you don't, like a majority of the time. On top of that, like I started therapy this year, which has just been helpful in really general. Good, like super pro therapy. Just, I guess, talking out those fears out loud, though, that even therapy is that, speaking what you're thinking in your head so much out loud. Because I think that's what social media is. That's what comparison is. That's what all of these things are. It's just like inner dialogue that we're having with ourselves. And a lot of the time, the shit's not true. And a lot of the time, just
you're making up fucking scenarios in your head and making yourself anxious 100%. For no fucking reason.
And if you talked it over with someone else, somebody else would be like, what the hell is wrong with you, right? And that's like the fear of like all of that. So saying out loud, addressing it and being like, yeah, girl, like what the heck?
Well, the thing that's fucking us up is it's like two layers of, I don't want to say lies, but like deception. So on one hand, as we're posting on social media, we all know that we want to post our highlights, right? Like we want to post that we're on vacation somewhere on an island and we're, you know, hanging out with Jay-Z and that stuff, right? Like we're partying every day, like we're somebody. So that's one part of the deception is, of course, you're only going to see the highlights. But then the second layer is even ourselves, how we're perceiving it. We're then going, like you said, we're going to compare and go, oh, fuck, that looks cool. They're in Miami, they're partying, they're doing this, they just got this promotion. Like, fuck, why not me? So it's two layers of like shit. And then, that you have to deal with. But I like how you said just something simple of speaking that thought out loud and then go, it's kind of dumb.
Kind of dumb.
I say that to my girlfriend all the time. I'll just like say stuff to her that I'm thinking. She
soundboard.
She confirms that I'm being silly.
A soundboard. Sometimes you need that though. I think overall too, just like a lot of people are preaching self-love, but I don't think a lot of us are actually practicing it. Because self-love wouldn't be talking to ourselves that way. Self-love wouldn't be like, it wouldn't be
I'm
like,
thinking of, when I'm working out, I'm like, you're a piece of shit. You're a piece of shit. Work hard. I'm thinking of like,
but I guess the self-love in that is like the fact that you took yourself to the gym, right? Like that's the self-love in it. So working on verbally self-loving yourself while you're doing it is the issue. I guess whatever you need to get one more rep in, okay?
If it's helping you, get to the gym or get that workout, then
oh my goodness,
Do you see yourself living in Vegas forever?
No, I definitely want to leave soon. Hopefully.
Soon?
Do you
what's on the horizon?
I don't know. I don't know.
You grew up here, right? So you've known. Are you gonna go? Let's just start there. Are you gonna go opposite of desert climate?
Oh hell no! It has to be somewhere. It has to be like not Western necessarily. It doesn't have to be Western United States. It could be literally anywhere in the world that's like warm.
Okay.
Yeah. That's even like Miami. Miami stays relatively warm.
A little more humid, I believe, though.
Yeah, that's okay. We can.
Have you been to Miami?
Yeah, I have.
Okay, cool with it then.
Because I was like, I'm from Las Vegas too, and I fucking hated the humidity.
Oh, really?
I was gonna. Yeah.
I don't. It's not. But it's better than cold. As long as it's just not cold for me, I can't.
I can do the cold. Snow,
no.
But
I don't think I've seen real snow in my lifetime.
Really?
You never been up to Mount Charleston at least?
But it's like ice every time I go. Like it's melted. It's just not like fresh snow. Yeah. I'm like every time I've like tried to go sledding up there as a child, like
it just hits.
Hitting like straight ice, like dirty, like
dirty.
Yeah.
I know. Yeah, it's not like it's not.
I don't think that's I used to chalk it up to like that was the experience, but I'm now like I think that I'm just not experiencing what snow
No,
really
that's
is.
a safe analysis. Yeah, because if you were to talk to somebody from like Chicago or really anywhere that it snows, yeah, they'd be like, "That's not snow. That's just frozen water."
Exactly, but
That's
that's
hardly
how
snow.
it feels.
Yeah.
Yeah. So no, definitely not anywhere cold. It has to be warm and
What are
sunny.
some like memorable places that you've been so far that really stuck out to you? I know
That's a
you
good
mentioned
question.
Miami. What about like LA or?
Love New York, hate LA. Like, no offense to my LA people, I might be out there soon, so I don't want to hear any shit.
Oh, wait till you get there.
I know everyone's
Really,
like,
Sam?
"Aren't you the bitch who said you hated
You
LA?"
fucking hate us or what?
I'm like, yes.
LA's awesome. It's just the fucking amount of people that are there.
It's the amount of people.
Yeah.
It's the whole vibe.
Yeah.
For
Yeah.
me, I'm like and maybe it's just the industry I'm in. I mean, we're similar industries. You guys are working with the same clients at the very least in the sense, but like, yeah, the industry's just okay. The best way I can put it, like LA versus New York. At least New York, they're gonna tell you the shit to your face. Like LA, they just gonna talk behind your back. And it's just like for me, that vibe, even that energy in a sense, I would just
Yeah.
much rather be in New York.
Yeah.
Like, just tell me I'm gonna suck from the jump. Like, don't sit here and just like,
Yeah.
hey, yeah, I think you're great, and then like turn around and like tell me I'm not
She's like,
great.
she fucking
Yeah,
sucks.
Yeah, she fucking sucks. Tells everybody else she fucking sucks.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I haven't been in New York. I've only had a layover in New York, so obviously I haven't experienced New York. But from what I've seen, New York is a different type of folk. Like they're
It's
their own breed over there.
I love it though.
So,
I'm
I said, yeah, I think
I
it's
feed off that
I
energy.
think it's hit or miss. Like
Yeah.
you either you get New York or you don't.
I feed off
And
that
I'm not
energy.
sure I get New York. I'd love to visit. Don't get me wrong. I want to visit, but like I just see some of the stuff and I'm like, yep, this is not my people. This is not my realm.
Yeah, I'm surprised you haven't visited.
I want to.
Yeah, it's
But-
an I guess also the same thing. Like, I'm just waiting for invitations places. Like, not invitations, but like for a reason to go certain
Yeah,
places.
like
'cause-
we've thought about like take a weekend or this and that, but it's definitely nothing has been like you need to get there now
Yeah.
or that time. So, but it's definitely on the list.
My family's from New York.
you
Oh,
know?
what part?
I've never been in Brooklyn.
Oh, okay.
Beverage.
Yeah.
But yeah, I was born here, but I've never been either. But I would always hear about it and stuff. And,
New York's amazing.
Yeah.
And I'm saying that last time I was there, I got food poisoning. So if I
Yeah,
still
but
love
then,
New York,
yeah.
if you, I almost didn't want to go back to New York after that. But no, I'm saying like New York, it's a vibe. It's definitely
Where'd
a
you get
vibe.
food poisoning from? Do you remember?
It is from some pho. some Asian food. I just didn't want to be like discriminatory. I don't know. Like,
First she says fuck LA, then she's
Yeah.
hating Asian
No.
food in New York.
I know, like, but it was true. That's where I got it from.
Yeah.
Have you eaten pho since then?
No,
Okay, I was curious.
How long has it been though?
it was like last year at the beginning of the
Oh,
year.
that's a good amount of time.
Well, because I was curious because usually when you get food poisoning from something, you're like, I'm never eating that ever again.
Turned off.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I ate a Hot Pocket one time when I was a kid and I got sick and I puked it all up. And then
Never ate a Hot Pocket.
Still gross in my mind.
Yeah.
That's me right now currently with French fries.
Really?
I'm scarred, yeah.
all French fries?
Yeah, because like we went to London, we did 3 weeks in London, and it's just every fucking
yeah.
thing came with French fries. and I was
and
just
mayonnaise?
like, so
They're chips.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, they're chips. Sorry for my. Yeah, they're chips. But yeah, I'm just so
Uncultured.
turned off because the fries that we did have are just they don't salt, they don't pepper. There's like they're bland.
But they gave you mayonnaise on the side to dip them in?
I never had mayonnaise. I mean, I think they might give it to you, but like I didn't have it with
Yeah.
a mayo. But yeah, for
I like
like
mayo.
I'm just scarred. I'm like good on fries for probably like the next 6 to 8 months.
Yeah, no, I feel that. And in Europe, though, I just noticed that they always offer mayonnaise with the fries, and I didn't get it personally, but
They never offered me. Maybe
maybe it was like deeper, maybe Paris thing or something like
Yeah.
France. I don't know
but you know.
Yeah, they talk about in Pulp Fiction.
what.
Mayonnaise on fries?
Oh, yeah,
Yeah, when they're talking about the Baku
Royale with cheese.
Yeah, exactly. yeah, and they're saying they like
never seen Pulp Fiction.
yeah.
It's a classic. It's a
Sorry.
cult classic. Never seen
I'm
it.
24. No, I just blame my age for most of this stuff because I'm like,
Doesn't work at 24. Yeah, but it's like on Netflix. It's on.
Yeah, you're
fucking
right. I've passed it
t-shirts.
at least 5 times. It's in my list.
Yeah, you've seen it in
I
like
think
on like
you
a
would
Urban
really
Outfitters
enjoy
shirt.
it
You think-
because
aesthetically,
exactly.
yeah, film-wise.
Smoke a little bit, chill, put on Pulp Fiction. Yeah, I think you would enjoy it.
I think it falls in line with like American Psycho, like all of those classics, right?
It's a good one.
Yeah, for sure. That's another cult classic as well.
Yeah, I watched American Psycho. That one's good.
Yeah, Christian Bale.
Yeah, cinematically, it's beautiful.
Yeah.
Yeah, there's a few. that are beautiful.
I didn't realize Jared Leto is the guy he kills with the axe.
Yeah.
Yeah. Until like years and years and years after.
Oh, well, she doesn't get it, so it's just for us.
Jared Leto is
30 Seconds to Mars lead singer.
Yeah, okay.
Requiem
Also
for a Dream. That's another cult classic.
I feel like in this one, isn't he more known for like his acting?
who, Jared Leto at this
Yeah.
point? Yeah. Well,
like
because
he
he played Joker and now it's just like
yeah,
a thing,
and then
right?
he's had a few other roles that like
He has had a few.
I don't want to say suck, but yeah, have not been as prolific as Joker and American Psycho.
Yeah, the Morbius I heard was dog shit. I haven't seen it though.
I
That
don't
new
know.
Morbius movie? Is that what you're talking? That's what you're referring to, Sean?
I might be. I have no clue of a name, but I've just seen some roles, and I'm like, because like I don't think he's like a main character. Like I don't think he can hold his own as like being the star of a movie. I could be wrong. Fucking, what are we, TMZ now?
I actually worked for him once.
Did you?
When he talks to you, he like stares into your soul.
Who, Jared Leto?
Yeah.
Oh, he looks like he would stare into your soul.
uncomfortable.
Yeah.
I could see that.
He was nice though.
Huh.
Well,
What are some of your favorite shoots that you've done? They don't have to be paid. They could be like just creative. They could just like any top moments that kind of stand out to you.
I don't know. It's more so like moments that stand out to me, I guess, have been like what has been successful in the sense of like
Okay.
when I went to New York the first time, I did this random shoot and it ended up getting picked up by AT&T for like a whole spread.
Oh shit.
So I had
Whoa.
like billboards in New York and stuff, which
that's
was like,
cool.
yeah, I don't know if it was just like in my mind feeling justified by
Right.
that. Yeah.
Yeah.
No, but that's fine because that's like a thing, you know, like a level of achievement you can like measure almost.
Yeah.
Like, oh, look at me. Like I this thing happened. Like how cool.
Yeah.
I remember-
And we didn't shoot with that in mind. So that's like also the
Oh,
coolest
even
thing. It was
cool. It's a
like
double.
trade for photo. Like I
Right.
really just went out there to shoot with people and like, yeah, they just picked up the photos. So that was pretty cool.
Nice. Billboard. I remember I got my first billboard. I saw like my photo on a billboard, and yeah, it's a milestone.
Yeah.
It's really cool.
I know. I wish I would have got to see it in person. I didn't get to see any of my photos in person because it was in New York.
Did it like reassure you from any like self doubt that you had from high school? You're like, oh, like. 'Cause you were saying that you felt awkward and weird, and they're like, look, I want a fucking billboard.
No, I still feel fucking awkward and weird.
Okay.
I'm like, the one thing I've learned like, some self-love and some like confidence maybe. But I think I will always probably feel, I mean, that's just like life, just getting a grasp on like what it feels like to be a person in this world in general. Like it's all just really fucking awkward.
What is it like to be a
weird.
person in this world? No.
I don't know. It's different
Awkward
for all
and
of
weird
us.
is
Yeah,
probably the
awkward
best
and
way you can
weird.
describe it.
Literally, yeah. We're just older. That's it. You just get older, but you're still awkward
And you're
and
still
fucking
just
weird.
fucking figuring it out all the time. It's just confusing.
I've just been trying to figure out for longer and longer and longer, you know?
Yeah, that's how it feels. Thanks for justifying that for me. Cause, oh my gosh.
Guess what you have to look forward to?
I was like, literally, I'm stressed already, but thank you.
You got more years of figuring shit out, Sam.
Yeah,
so.
no.
Well, and then I feel like once you start to figure out, and then like people will have kids, and then it's like figuring out even
Another level of figuring it
a
out.
whole other level. Yeah.
Yeah, oh shit,
So
don't
fuck
bring
that.
kids into it.
Nope.
I'm like, oh gosh. Yeah, thank God right now I'm only responsible for myself because
Yeah, I could even barely handle that.
I can barely
I
handle
barely handle
that.
myself and my wife, let alone another human life. Because like if I don't feed her or like leave her alone, she's not gonna die. But like if I leave a baby alone, that thing's gonna die.
You're right.
So I can't
100%.
do that right now.
That is so funny. It's real shit.
All right, so you've been working all day, and you're getting a little tired. You're on set. You have any go-to music to pump you up?
Right now is definitely Beyonce. The whole new Beyonce album. I don't know why that shit has just been on replay for me, but
Queen Bee.
it's just more so like
It
it just makes me want to dance.
Ivana brought it up recently. Did she come out with a song about Jay-Z? The one about "It's not your face, it's the cash"?
I guess.
'Cause I haven't-
the fact that she's okay. I don't think that was. I don't know. I don't keep up with the pops, so I don't want to get added. Like,
That's
yeah,
smart.
that was about that. I'm not like.
Okay.
I'm not in the Beehive.
Because that's my only relation to Beyonce, other than like back in Destiny's Child days.
Dude, Austin Powers.
She's not on my playlist.
Austin
yeah,
Powers.
golden member exactly.
Yeah, but I mean like musically, like
No. Oh, okay. I'm sorry.
yeah, I haven't listened to Beyonce.
Well, this last one was good. Very like house music, drag, obviously. Very like
But that's what
trend
you're
with.
currently.
But you
Feeling
said
it.
the whole thing with Jay-Z. You're right. She did
Was
say
that on the latest
shit.
one, or was that just
It was on the latest one.
Oh, okay.
Like the face card part. It's not. Yeah, it's not your face. It's the cash. And I
Something.
get she can't say that without looking at her husband. So I feel it.
Yeah, he's not like the most like
That's subjective.
attractive guy, right?
That's true. That's subjective. Because
I'm like, that's
Oh, I mean,
subjective.
I'm not either. I'm not.
I mean, obviously,
winner over here either. But I'm just
obviously
saying.
Beyonce. Obviously Beyonce. I don't know. Whatever.
Or maybe she's saying it as a joke and like he knows about it. It's like an inside joke.
Maybe
between them.
she wasn't even talking about him. She probably wasn't
Oh,
even
we
talking
know,
about
yeah.
him.
Yeah.
And we all just chalking it up to Jay-Z.
yeah. What's it like? I wanted to ask, like, what's it like working with different photographers? Like, is there good? I don't want to say situation. Is there like better shoots, and then there's
Yeah.
ones that are not so good?
100%.
How do you deal with? Does it help having? Not even having a relationship, but does it help you and like energy wise, at least seeing that photographer's work before the shoot? That way you can kind of get an idea of how that person's either like style is or how maybe they may operate.
I would say if we're saying this on an advanced or on an advice standpoint for other people, probably.
It could be.
Like if this is for somebody else, then yeah, like I think that that's always a good standpoint so you can just prepare yourself. But personally, I think also just I'm so confident in my skill set at this point that I don't really look if I don't need to.
Okay.
So sometimes like it's just so everything is just so irrelevant because no matter even what their work looks like how the energy will be on set, how they're going to communicate with you, if they're going to direct you or not, like all of that's kind of just based on when you get to the set. So like, and also like everyone shoots differently.
Right.
Like it's just so completely different. So sometimes like, yeah, I'll check out your work, but it doesn't tell me much about the photographer.
It doesn't matter what like it doesn't help with the pre-energy.
Because somebody can be amazing, but the way they shoot's completely different than like somebody else, you know? And I'm more so speaking like the biggest like differences I notice between photographers is like how fast we're shooting, right? Like if I'm fluidly modeling or if I like have to take a time in between everything or like stuff like that, you know? I can't really prepare for those just by like looking at your photos. So I noticed that I don't really study up on the photographers before I go. Yeah, it's probably a bad habit. But also as somebody who's probably trying to get into the industry, and if you're not like a professional or like doing it consistently, then maybe, looking at the photographer just
Do
to
a
get an
little bit of
idea of,
What's your favorite photographer you worked with? You can't say Sean.
You can't say me. No, that's too
No,
biased.
Sean, John, Jenny Jen, Yev,
Oh, yeah, Yev's the shit.
Miguel Cortez,
I haven't
Luther
met him,
Red.
but I follow him on Instagram. Miguel's
Miguel's tight.
because I know Enrique and Yev. They all
Yep,
hang out.
Enrique's tight. I've worked with all of them.
Nice.
Small world.
I've tried to make my rounds in Las Vegas at least. Like,
Nice.
I mean, I'm getting older now, so all the newer photographers,
Older.
I don't know. But it feels like it. I mean, 8 years, 7 years of modeling.
Okay, yes.
That's
okay.
a long
You
time.
mean in modeling
Yeah.
years, not like
And
life.
experience-wise,
Okay.
yeah, not. I mean, I am getting older. We're
You
all
said
getting.
you just said
No,
24.
but we're all getting older. My point is like you can't
Okay.
say that I'm not getting older. I'm always going to be getting older. Like-
Time is standing still for you, Sam. Yes, I get what you're saying.
I'm always going to be getting older. Jenny Jen for sure. Free Relief, Kennedy,
Kennedy's cool, yeah.
Yeah, follow her
Dope,
as well.
Marina, which they just created their Desert Shore creative agency.
Quite a bit. You got quite a bit done, yeah.
Yeah,
Nice.
I have a few people that I really, but I also like once I have photographers I work, I usually stay around the same
Yeah.
like people
Yeah.
most of the time. Yeah. Yeah.
It's easier to not be awkward and weird when you are
once
more
you-
familiar with them and
Yeah.
True.
comfortable.
100%. Yeah. No, 100%. And also you just know how they work. It's faster. Don't have to waste time and stuff. I'm a big fan of like efficient shooting now. Like
Yeah.
back in the day, right, we used to all just like hang out and shoot and just,
Yeah.
take your time and stuff. And now I'm just like, how many shots can we get in 30 minutes?
Yeah. I
Like
remember
if we can get these shots in 30 minutes, don't take longer than
don't
that.
take more than 30,
yeah, I'm like, we gotta listen.
that was how our last shoot we did.
Yeah, no.
for that bag
Oh yeah,
company.
it was literally like an hour.
Fuck.
I think we had like an hour.
We had less than an hour.
yeah,
and
because we were looking for location and stuff
Yeah.
too.
That one was a fast one. But I like some, but I was already had worked with you, so I knew that we were able to knock out
fast.
what we did, and but I'm sure the client was like, "What the fuck is going on?"
We're like, don't worry, you're gonna get all the shots.
Both
I
of
think.
us were
Do
on
you
100.
feel that too, though? As like photographers, it's hard to convince, especially in an industry where we have to always convince people that. I don't know if you guys charge based off of hourly, but I mean, as models, a lot of them charge based off of hourly.
It depends, but yeah.
Do you? Yeah, it depends. But do you feel like it's hard though to like justify to clients, like, for example, if they only want to book you for 1 hour, justifying that like you're gonna get a lot of photos, or like, does that seem like a hard balance?
Well, I do 2 hour minimum.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. But
Maybe I
then
can start doing minimum.
Yeah, because then if I give them an hourly, like, oh well, I'll just book you for an hour. It's like, it's not
You're
worth
gonna
my
get the
fucking
same.
time, dude.
Yeah.
That is situational. That for me, that's not a one size fits all, because, for example, certain things I don't even need the hour.
Yeah.
Like, but then other times you do. You're like, oh, I'm only going to book you for an hour, and you're like, we have to meet at a location. We have to shoot this stuff. We have to change outfits. We have to change products, whatever it may be. Yada yada. Like, you're not going to get
People
shit
don't
out
ever
of that hour.
account
Yeah.
for it.
Then on the other hand, if it is something very simple where it's holding a weed pen, for example, where it's like we really only have 3 products, like hour, we can crush that all day long.
Yeah.
Like, we don't need more than that.
It's so hard to kind of balance the two, and having to get all the details of the shoot to understand. Because I feel like clients always underestimate the amount of time, or on the other hand, book just based on time, and then you over give value in the sense of like photos. Because even as like models now, I know, just like to say it, because it's something I've been dealing with this year in the adjustment of like leveling up and just like charging buyouts versus just hourlies, or just like having those minimums and stuff.
Yeah.
It's such a big adjustment, but also like so validating, because people are sitting here charging or like paying models $50 an hour and receiving hundreds of photos to use for their product, like for any amount of time, because nobody justified contracting or anything,
Yeah.
So it's been a lot of learning that shit. And trying to figure that out.
Do you use contracts?
Yeah.
Okay.
I mean, it depends. Like on when Vitone and Talent, that made me like, I had a contract for literally everything. On personal things, depends on who I'm working with, I suppose. Like, if it's with you, I probably wouldn't send you a whole service. Yeah.
Well, yeah. I think
it just depends. Yeah. But with like certain companies, for sure, like we're doing service contracts now, and like, especially on our ends, because I feel like a lot of times models just take what they're given and like don't really ask about details, don't ask about like payout amount. Like, I don't know, for some reason it just feels like models are the last people who are expected to be like professional or actually have some type of boundary or setting or like whatever.
Yeah, and do you think maybe just because they're hot, or maybe because they're women, just like expect them, like, oh yeah, whatever.
I think it's also just like the last thing people would consider in a marketing campaign. Like, it's like, okay, let me book photographer, let me figure out how this is going to happen, and then let me figure out how little I can pay somebody to be a part of like the shoot, because there's so many beautiful women who just want to shoot, or like who are willing to.
Also on the flip side, photographers who want to just shoot too.
True. Yeah, I'm sure.
It's the same on both sides of people so either eager to shoot or break in, or even just they're already in, but level up, like you said. Like, it's both sides. Like, models will be charging less than others, photographers will charge less than others, so it's definitely an ongoing battle on both ends.
I'm gonna say this on here though, because I think it genuinely helps when we all understand each other's market, so that the market can all go up. I'm charging buyout fees. No one's getting
so can you explain?
Yeah, what do you mean by buyout?
Can you explain like buyout fees versus what you would do opposed to buyout fees as well?
Yeah, I guess like typically it's either like, I mean, there's tons of ways and avenues that somebody can go about this. But a buyout is basically just like saying how long and for what somebody can purchase or use your photos for. So instead of them just paying you for your time, they're also paying you for the actual photo.
Oh, gotcha. So it's like licensing.
Yeah, licensing. And so it's also different among like the client, also photographer, depending on like where it is in the United States, usually photographers have photo rights first over like model.
Yeah.
Depending, we could all argue, and if you really wanted to sue somebody, like anything could be argued. But most of the time, photographers have like priority rights because you're the one taking the photo and stuff. So when it comes to like models, just kind of like asking questions about where they'll be using the photos, whether it's website, social media, print, and then how long, right? Like 6 months, is it like a 6-month campaign? Are they trying to use these photos forever? And just like
licensing for models and photographer fees, things of that nature.
Sean, do you use, have you implemented that into your work as well? A copyright fee?
It depends the type of shoot and the client. So, you know, if I have a couple that's an elopement, obviously I'm not going to have any sort of, licensing issues, but if it's for a company or a brand, then I'll definitely have a contract written up.
If they got the deeper pockets.
Because it's funny that you bring up the, you know, usage side of things, because not too long ago I saw a billboard for a cannabis company that I had shot, and the original agreement wasn't for that. So when I saw the billboard, me and the model were texting each other and we're like, wait a minute, like, did you sign something? Did you say something? Because like neither of us, you know, were aware that they had used it for a billboard. I won't say the name of the company. They squared away with us. They were super good. They're a repeat client of mine. But yeah, those situations happen where there's an overlap in marketing and somebody grabs a photo, they use a billboard, and nor the model nor me even, if I didn't happen to see it, then we never would have got paid, because they literally like were taking it down like 3 days after that anyway.
Yeah.
So
yeah,
those are very important to A, contracts in place, and B, stand up for yourself.
Yeah.
You know?
And ask the questions. Like closed mouths really don't get fed. And most of the times, a lot of the people who have come to me, I do consultations for people who are dealing with like, I'm not a lawyer in any way, but like I also understand the general, like more than the average model, I suppose, about contracting and what we do deserve and how we should get paid. And like I've done a few consultations where most of the time a lot of the things could have been avoided if you just asked a question or set guidelines or just said something or just been clear about it, or just, you know, little things like that. So I'm like, just ask. It's your money. Closed mouths don't get fed. And at the end of the day, like, I think it's also, and even for myself, I really had to work through this. This whole adjustment of charging for buyouts, et cetera, has also led to a lot of no's. Like a lot of people who are just it's not in their budget, you know what I'm saying? But it's also kind of like, at the end of the day, kind of dictating what's going to be more purposeful or more efficient, or like giving back of your worth for time. Sorry, go ahead.
No. Yeah, I was going to add to that and say, if you raise your price, you're going to lose clients always, but then you're gaining time
100%.
And then you're keeping, hopefully your amount of money is going to be the same because you're raising the price, but then you're losing the clients, but then you're gaining time to then work on other projects and other personal stuff as well.
Yeah.
But yeah, I want to, before I lose this thought, I want to touch on the situation that I'm referring to where a client had used a photo that the model didn't approve because her face was in it.
Yeah.
And it was for cannabis. So again, she goes, I didn't approve of this. Now my face is plastered on this billboard promoting it, and I didn't approve of that. Yeah. Whereas the shoot was, you know, maybe close-ups or hands or just social. But what I want to touch on, the advice I want to give to you out there, whatever it is approach each situation nicely. And then if it is not working out, then you can get kind of nasty. But like, don't from the get-go start out and like writing that email or that phone call, like biting that person's head off, because it was literally a miscommunication within their department and overlap.
Yeah.
So.
And also a lot of people, this isn't their industry. This is not their job. This is not their service that they're providing. A lot of people don't get it. And they are just passing these photos around within their different, like, you know, little groups of teams or whatever. They have people like working marketing teams, whatever. And a lot of people don't get it. They don't get why we're charging, you know, a certain amount of money for you to use it on this, and that. So yeah, it does take, like, you know, just reaching out, saying something, and being nice about it.
Yeah, exactly.
Because it's still customer service, right? Yeah. We're still providing a service for people.
So don't throw a brick through the window?
No, because like, again,
I mean, maybe after you ask them like a couple
times. like I said, we start off nice, because again, we're giving them the benefit of the doubt that they're because I knew in that situation, I knew the old, you know, social media guy, and I knew that he had left. So I was like, there's probably, they were in a Dropbox folder or what have you, and they threw it up. So whatever. Yeah. But what advice I'm giving is be nice first, and then if that's not working out, then you can get kind of nasty and maybe throw some terms out there, but just be cool at first.
Be cool first.
Be cool at first. And then you could get all
advice.
then you can get all Chuck Norris.
You got some Chuck Norris moves or what?
No. What is Sam doing when she's not? Because I hadn't to golf for Chuck Norris, so I'm not even going to entertain that. What is Sam doing when she's not working? How are you relaxing? How are you resetting?
Smoking cannabis.
Okay, that's fair.
That was actually my recommendation last time.
Yeah.
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 Okay, cool. Okay, I'm glad I'm not the only one.
No,
I'm like,
no, not at all.
no. Yeah, definitely like consuming cannabis. I mean, that's been like a social thing at this point. Like everyone smokes. So
Yeah.
it's just very social.
Really, I disagree. I don't want to be around people when I'm stoned. I want to be at home.
You're like more of the
Yeah,
reserve.
yeah.
Yeah, I can get that.
True. Okay, I feel you on that. So there
Yeah.
are a lot of people who I feel like can't really necessarily be social when they're
Yeah.
high. But I do think that like cannabis at this point, everyone smokes. So it
Yeah,
is
yeah.
become a very like
It's
for the people who can smoke together.
Yeah.
I agree, Sam. No, and I'm at the point now like where I can be
Yeah.
publicly stoned.
It takes some training.
For sure. It took me it took me about a year to like
Yeah.
be like okay.
Yeah.
But then I'm like, and then I'm also thinking now that I said that out loud, maybe I just don't want to be around people sober either.
Yeah.
Right.
Valid.
And the weed's just like, yeah, dude, that's not.
Valid. I'm like, ain't nobody judging you. I feel you. I'm like, I freaking feel you.
Yeah.
Cannabis, I've picked up like drawing and like
Oh, really?
art recently. Yeah. I've
That's
always
good.
had like an interest in it, but I've been like surrounded around more artists, it feels like. So I've just been picking up different, little, I'm like, what else do I do right now? Yeah, that's really it.
Different
Nice.
mediums.
Yeah. Different mediums. Yeah. For creatives. So just finding different ways to channel that. Yoga, journaling, a lot
Oh.
of like healthy coping ways to deal with like life in general too. 'Cause
Yeah.
Yoga is awesome. I started doing it a few weeks ago.
Oh, really? Oh, yeah. You're talking about your app.
Yeah, the Apple Fitness. It's like
Uh-huh.
$80 for the year and it has a ton of yoga and like other shit on there, but the yoga is really good.
Like follow alongs.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. Then you can cast it like straight to your TV.
Yeah.
And then it's.
Yeah, I agree.
Well, if you don't have Apple Fitness though, you could always use YouTube.
So that's what I use for all my other stuff too.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I was like,
Such
I
a
don't have
good-
Apple Fitness, but I go
Yeah,
onto
yeah.
YouTube
Yeah.
and I definitely just YouTube random. Like
Yeah.
I'll do like even if I'm like feeling like stressed or something or like whatever, yoga for positivity, yoga for
Yeah.
if I have a cramp somewhere, I'm like, okay, yoga for cramps, yoga
Nice.
for waking up in the morning.
Dang, there's yoga for everything.
No, yeah, literally though,
Yeah.
there are like different flows and different things you can kind of like tap into or stretch out or like do.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I didn't realize how tight of a little like ball I was until I started stretching. I'm like, oh, dude, I feel awesome.
Yeah.
I read something recently where it was like you're complaining about getting older, but when in reality you just haven't stretched in a while.
Yeah, for
I
sure.
was like, I feel that. Like, yeah, I probably just need to stretch your joints a little bit.
It is weird how like much better you feel.
Yeah.
You should do it today. You,
I know.
You
I
and
can't.
the wife.
I canceled Pilates yesterday because we were.
Oh,
Well, what's the cool
Pilates.
thing about yoga is like it's not like it can be hard if you're doing it, but you can do like a quick 10-15 minute thing and
Yeah.
like you feel awesome and it's also not too taxing.
Yeah,
Yeah.
you can do like a relaxing flow versus like a whole weight loss or like something where you're
Yeah.
trying to make cardio. Because Pilates, okay.
Pilates is cool. Yeah.
I'm like, Pilates can be aggressive though.
Heavy.
Yeah.
I can't-
I'm like,
yeah, it's. I mean, yeah, it's definitely. It's weird because I'm not like the workouts are like for me. I'm used to like strength things, right? Where I'm like, okay, I'm gonna lift this weight. I like, you know what I mean. But like the yoga is different because I'm like straddling. You're like straddling the half ball and like pulling. You know, just barely moving your arm. And you're like, what the fuck? This is like 10 things at once, and it's so difficult.
Yeah.
But it doesn't seem it, right? Because you're like I said, you're just straddling the half ball and moving your shoulder.
Yeah.
So it's weird mindset.
Yeah.
100%. But I feel like I really started practicing yoga over quarantine, and I realized like I got stronger. Well, somebody who's not that strong in the first place, but so I got like more strength from yoga. But I think that's just more so like holding up your own body weight automatically like makes you.
I was gonna say there's a ton of core strength in yoga.
Yeah, true. Core too.
Yeah.
Yeah, for balance because you have to like
You have to get.
squeeze it all in and stuff. So interesting.
Is there any advice you'd give to yourself when you first, or just any advice that you give to your younger self? Like, I know you're only 24, so maybe let's go, maybe 18-year-old Samantha. Or
yeah,
16
I was like, yeah, even like last year, I'm like, slow down. It's okay. It's okay. Yeah, like it's okay. Like slow down. Yeah, you're gonna learn, and you're always gonna be learning, and that shit's okay. I'm like, there's so many downloads I've had in the past year. If I could just tell myself all of those, like as quick as I could. But also, you're gonna learn the things that you need to learn as you need to learn them, and you're gonna learn them over and over again until you learn them. So, just hold on for the ride and figure that out. And then also with like modeling, just like take everything as a learning experience and like not take anything for granted, and stop having imposter syndrome because you're the coolest. But yeah, like I think things like that, I just really struggled a lot with. Took me a long time to admit I was a model or take myself seriously.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
What did you not? How did you perceive yourself?
Like any of these other girls out here just doing it. I think also just modeling in general, like there's so many like Instagram models and just, I don't know. I just felt like, okay, I'm just one of these other girls. And in my mind, maybe also it's just like trauma from, or like just not being able to admit that maybe somebody wouldn't want to hire me for my own personal, or like making me like feel like I'm unique.
Okay.
Because like it just felt like, I don't know, it just felt like so much competition. It felt like, I don't know, I just didn't take myself seriously.
Yeah.
And I guess maybe the whole weird notion or like not that stereotype that comes behind modeling also on top of that was just like weird for me.
It's almost like imposter syndrome.
Yeah, no, that's what I was saying. Like very much imposter syndrome.
Yeah.
Even to this day, like sometimes I'm just like, what am I doing? As many like little things that you would think would validate me in my experience. I'm like, what makes me more
Yeah. What? Yeah, you're saying.
than someone else. But obviously it was like still in
what
time.
differentiates you from somebody else and makes you stand out?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Been a very weird learning experience in that way. But
Yeah.
we're all unique, so just also like
Yeah, we're all awkward and weird in our own ways. So who
awkward
cares?
and weird. Yeah, 100%.
That's the title
That's
of
the
this
theme.
episode.
Yeah, awkward and weird.
Definitely.
Oh, gee. Okay.
You want to jump into the recommendations?
Yeah. Each episode, we try to tackle a chill recommendation, a local Las Vegas recommendation, and a gear recommendation. I want you to tackle the gear. And what I mean is there anything that you recommend to make your life, or that you've learned along the way that makes your life easier in the creative field?
Yeah. I love this part of the segment, by the way.
Okay.
This
Thank
is
you.
very
Cool. Thanks.
like little. But for
Nuggets.
sure. I mean, okay, so like just a rundown in general. I want to shout out someone specific, like
Okay.
a local business.
Shout 'em
specific. But a rundown in general, like for models, I mean, it's a lot of like bring extra like makeup, bring extra,
Okay.
like make sure you have extra shoes on set because you never know if things are going to fit you. If I know what the theme is, I always try to bring like a set of clothes in case nothing fits me, like that I'm comfortable in.
Okay.
So little things like that,
Yeah.
right? Like, so there are gear that models have.
Yeah.
Yeah, for sure. So be
Journals,
well prepared.
speaker, right, for music, because
Nice.
that's like the most forgotten thing.
Yeah.
But
Lint roller,
definitely-
probably, right?
What?
Lint roller.
Yeah, exactly. A lint roller.
What's the wrinkle release?
Yeah, okay, I don't come that prepared. I'm usually always like a
Damn.
little wrinkly and maybe a little ashy sometimes. I don't know why I forget the lotion, but like lotion should be a part of that
Right.
as well. But
You almost need a checklist.
a whole checklist.
Okay.
The main thing is what all this comes in is the tote bag.
Right. Okay.
Okay, so recently my friend, Hours Unlimited, I don't know if you've heard Hours
I
Unlimited.
used to, yeah, back in the day.
Ted.
Terry?
No, Ted.
Ted. Okay, sorry.
Ted
yeah,
Lansmere, yeah.
Yeah.
He runs Hours Unlimited, and they just released this like big ass tote. Or I don't think it's even released yet. It might be releasing soon. So
There you go.
there we go, a little plug. It's called the Life and Leisure tote, but it's like this huge ass tote that I just use to carry all of my stuff. I can carry, the reason why I love it so much is I can carry like 5 outfits in it. So
Oh,
sick.
what a little
I'm like,
goodie bag.
It's like a duffel bag almost.
no, it's huge. I'm sure maybe it's probably meant for travel, But yeah, you're.
I mean, you're traveling to
when
work,
exactly.
What's
So,
the local place you want to shout out?
that was it. Yeah.
Oh, okay.
It's a local brand. So
Oh, okay,
yeah,
cool.
like I was like earlier, I was like, I don't want to shout out like a general speaker.
What was the name again? Hours Unlimited?
Yeah, Hours Unlimited.
Nice. I'll check
Yeah.
them out. Is it like a brick and mortar, or is it just like a clothing brand that's local, or?
Clothing brand, brick and mortar. You mean by like a store?
Yeah, like a storefront.
Yeah, I don't
not
think he has a storefront yet.
Yeah, it's just online.
Nice.
Yeah.
Right on.
digital.
Well, shouts out. What was his name again?
Ted.
Ted.
Ted with
Shouts out
Hours Unlimited.
Yeah, I talked to him. I used to talk to him back when I had the studio, so I haven't talked to him since probably like 2019. But I am familiar with his clothing line.
Even the brand kind of like took a break. I feel like everyone's kind of just
Reset a little bit.
reset. 100% reset is a good word.
Thank
Yeah.
you.
What about you, Sean? What's your local rec?
My local rec is actually Dark Moon Coffee, which I'm drinking right now.
Oh wow.
Yeah,
Be careful. That shit's strong.
that's strong. So yeah, they're located in Henderson. So like 10 minutes from my house. So I love them. But yeah, they're a client of mine for photo work, but I also do genuinely support them, and I do go to their Kyle's coffee shop in my off time. So it's something I definitely support.
Kyle's Coffee Shop is also another good name for a coffee shop. That could have worked.
I'm
too.
sure there's
It rolls off the tongue.
I'm sure
Yeah,
there's
Kyle's
somewhere out there a Kyle's coffee shop.
Dark Moon. Is it cold brew?
This one's cold brew, yeah.
Oh, okay.
But which
The to-go cans are cool.
yeah, they're very, very prolific. I'm usually a hot coffee drinker, but these little cans,
I'm rubbing off on him.
he's rubbing off on me. The cold brew and the cans.
It's only during summer. I'm very much like switch coffee based on the winter or something.
Yeah, I like hot espresso, and then everything else I like cold. I think just being raised here, born and raised here, it's like I don't want to drink a hot drink.
I feel like especially
Yeah.
You don't want a milkshake? Oh wait, that's cold. Damn it.
I was like, what? And then my chill rec is yoga.
Perfect.
Yeah, funny enough. Yoga or just working out in general. It's hard to be upset if you're exhausted from working out. I feel like a lot of the day's stresses are eased by working out.
If you're stressed out, just tire yourself out more.
Yeah, exactly. If you
Is your brain
start to
working
get
too
anxiety,
much?
work out.
Yeah, no, true.
That's nice. Yeah, use that energy for something good.
That's a good way.
Yeah.
I usually am so anxious. I don't even think.
Yeah.
I'm like working out's the last thing on my mind. But yeah, no.
Yeah,
That's
yeah,
smart.
yeah.
I'm like, it is
Yeah.
extra energy.
But you said you started yoga though, so you definitely have made that time to separate.
That's like a morning thing. You know, what do you do when you're like anxiety in the middle of like the day? I'm like, start doing push-ups in the middle.
Cleaning's
wherever I
nice
am.
too. I like cleaning.
True.
Cleaning's
Oh.
a nice little reset for my brain.
Yeah.
Declutter your brain in general.
Yeah.
I did it the other day. I threw in the AirPods and I started cleaning, and I felt it was just basically it was just like some dishes and something, but for some reason it just felt really good to just like physically do something, but like turn the brain off and like have music in.
It's like a lot of little achievements. Like, oh, I did the dishes.
Yeah.
That only takes like 5-10 minutes.
Yeah.
Like I mopped the floor. Like this, it's just like starting the day off right. You got a lot of good stuff done. A lot of wins.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I talk to my grandma while I'm cleaning now, and
Oh,
that
yeah?
feels like to kill like two birds at one stone. You know?
Yeah.
Yeah. Smart.
Yeah, just listen to her in my ear and like clean, and I get so much done. You know? 'Cause
While
she talks
doing
a
it?
long time.
Yeah.
Oh, there you go.
I'm like, it's a whole hour goes by, and I'm like, oh wow, like I just
Oh.
cleaned everything. Okay,
Yeah.
cool. Got it done, and talked to my grandma.
Nice. You have any gigs coming up that you're looking forward to? Anything exciting?
I just shot a cool little like campaign with a Resorts World brand.
Oh, sick.
Oh, nice.
So that was cool because I haven't tapped into like the casinos, which is like one of our biggest markets here in Vegas. So,
Definitely our biggest industry.
yeah, I'm like, that was a cool intro, especially like feeling so kind of like at a wall with modeling. I'm like, oh, there's a whole another industry to tap
Yeah.
into. Duh.
Right.
For
Like
sure.
bars and stuff out here. So I'm excited for that. Nothing in particular. Lots of like castings, little things that are
Yeah.
going on, figuring out my life.
Yeah.
Just trying to figure out, what the
A
next
lot of
step
Sam
is.
time.
Yeah.
Which is good.
No, I'm calling it my Eat, Pray, Love and Year. So I'm like just
Oh, there
trying
you go.
to focus on giving back to myself so that I can go back to grinding and trying to figure out what I want to do.
Yeah,
Yeah.
what's that saying? You can't fill someone else's cup before yours.
Yeah. If
Yeah,
yours is empty, you can't.
It's the
fill it.
oxygen mask thing.
What?
On airplanes, you have to put your oxygen mask on your face first before somebody
you put your
else's,
kids.
because you can't help
Even
the other
your
person if you
kids.
can't breathe.
Yeah.
Same
That's a
concept.
good analogy.
Yeah?
Yeah.
Do you like that?
Just because I've been on so many planes the last few months that it was like definitely like I knew what you meant, but
Yeah.
that's a good analogy though. And it can't help you if I'm dead.
Yeah, true.
Yeah.
That's crazy though. That's crazy, especially with like your kid mentally. Anyway, sorry. I was about to go on a whole nother tangent. It's like mentally have to sit there and try to save yourself before you even save your kid. Like that's wild. It's a wild mental blockage.
Yeah.
That is
We don't have
actually.
kids still.
Yeah, true.
Yeah.
I don't have to worry about that.
You come second, child.
I'm surviving either way.
Yeah.
I made my dad used to say, I put you in this world and I can take you out of it.
Yeah.
Yeah, there you go.
We've all getting
I'm just
threatened.
following the
Yeah.
rules here. I'm just following the rules.
Yeah.
I gotta put my mask on first.
Sorry.
Then,
I'm so sorry.
then if I
I'm so sorry. Poor child. This is dark.
Yeah, this is-
Yeah, I got dark.
it's a very dark episode. Huh?
On that note,
This is good though.
Don't blame me. I'm sorry, everyone.
Yeah, no, this is a good. Where can the people find you, Sam?
On Instagram, for however long that's still going for, at Samantha Vitone. You could also follow me on like TikTok. Barely use that, but you could follow me on there. Yeah, that's I feel like basically it. I started a food page, so if you want to see what kind of cool eats I
Ooh.
eat, it's at Vitone Eats. But social media, Instagram is definitely like the first place you can find me.
yeah,
Yeah.
for sure.
Yeah.
Do you, if somebody wants to book you, how do they go about that?
You can DM and then email, but
Cool.
email is usually like the best.
Yeah.
The best
Most
way.
professional
Yeah.
way. Yeah. DMs tend to get lost sometimes, I feel like.
Yeah.
I don't know. I'm pretty on my DMs though, because that's where I
really?
make my money. I'm always like,
Yeah. For me, I had to put it in my bio like no DMs because it's just too hard for me to keep track.
oh, yeah?
Yeah.
Yeah, because then it's
I'm not
like,
there yet.
well, no, because you get your story replies in your DMs.
True.
And then you get your DMs in your DMs. So it's like, if I post something and I get 10 people who respond to it, that DM is now 2 scrolls away, and I'm much more less likely to like scroll down and like look through them.
You're right. And also,
Yeah.
most of the time when people DM me, I just tell them to email me, so it probably just
Yeah.
save a step anyway.
That's good.
There you
I
go.
feel it.
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay.
Sweet. Well, that was wonderful. Thank you very much.
No, thank you for having me.
Yeah,
on.
thanks for
this
coming
was
on.
fun. Yeah.
Thank you for all the knowledge.
Thank you for giving me the area to spit the knowledge.
Yeah.
Obviously, yeah, absolutely.
And then
Anytime, dude.
maybe
Anytime.
maybe in the future, in a few months, we'll check back in with Sam and see where you're at, what you're up to.
Yeah, we want to like double up episodes maybe starting next
That'd
year.
be
Maybe
fun.
have some people come back and see how everything's been going.
That'd be fun even for myself. Because honestly, that's also the reason why I wanted to come on though. Because I was like, I just wanted a mark in kind of what I'm doing right now. And just something I can look back on.
Sick.
And see. Yeah.
Well, you
Sweet.
look back on episode 14. We're in episode we're 14, right?
14.
I
Okay.
like that I'm like 14. Sounds early on before you guys get to like 100.
Yo, I was doing the math in my head. I was like, we won't even hit 100 until 2024,
Dang.
right? Because if we do weekly uploads, it's only
Okay, don't rush.
we can get like 65 more episodes plus
Oh,
14,
that sounds very, very exhausting.
right?
We won't hit 100 until 6 years from now. Like, Jesus.
Yeah,
It's only
all good.
It's okay.
yeah.
It'll fly by. And if
true.
you're doing it and actually genuinely having fun, it'll just be.
Fuck yeah, this is not even.
It is still
we're just
fun.
having a conversation.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It is a little stressful right now because it's peak season for us.
Yeah. And I was going to say everything gets like
Yeah.
eventually becomes kind of taskful, you know?
Yeah, just not enough time in the day.
Yeah.
But word. All right, guys.
Thanks for
Okay.
coming on, Sam.
Thank you for having me.
See ya.